Frank, I'm sorry. I was kind of starting to laugh but the reason why is because my wife is standing behind the computer flashing her tits trying to make me laugh.
Busted.
Yeah. All of a sudden you say the word Tommy Lee and tits come out. See, that's how it works.
Weird? Damn.
Hey guys, and welcome to the BTS of episode number 2 to our show DRUMLIFE, Zummo times Kerby. Today we have a Zoom chat with Adrian Young of No Doubt, who was our guest in episode number 2. Now online right now, I have Frank Zummo, Peter John, our director, and of course, Adrian Young himself. Let's get stuck into it. Adrian, how you doing there, man?
I'm fantastic. I'm in the mountains right now. It's snowy outside. It's in fact, there's so much snow I cannot leave this cabin I'm in. Which is fine. It's beautiful.
Snow.
A little bit chilly, but
yeah,
I'll survive.
Gotcha. And of course, Frank Zummo, how you doing there, brother?
I'm good, man. Good to see you. And yeah, dude, Adrian, I've never been there, or Big Bear, or any of the little mountain snow towns. And my kids wanted to go today because they're cousins. It's snowing up in Northern California, so my son almost cried this morning because he wanted to go sleigh riding. So I'm going to have to give me some recommendations. I need to take the kids sledding.
Absolutely. There are plenty of good spots to hit.
And of course, we've got Big Peter John there. How you doing up there in sunny Sunshine Coast, brother?
I'm completely opposite up here. It's beautiful. It's hot, sunny. It's early.
You're tan? You've been surfing, right?
Tanned. Yeah, every day.
Nice.
Nothing else to do. You can't travel, so.
Just go surfing.
Has it been hard for you guys to put this thing together, not being together?
Yeah. But we've kind of done one remote episode where Frank did like a gigantic show to release his solo project, and we got a guy over there, Frank's guy, to go and film all of that. I've still got to film my part to that, and we've got to kind of link them together, which will be some kind of, I don't know, I'd imagine I'll end up jamming with Frank to one of his songs, or something like that. But it's basically
kind of like as a wrap up, like we have the first episode in which you've seen when we went to Australia and played on the boat. That comes out tomorrow.
Okay.
The one with you will come out next month. And then the third one is Dan and the drummer from Parkway Drive in Australia in that stadium doing a halftime show for the Supercross.
The thing that I mixed?
Yeah. So Frank, Adrian mixed that. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, which would have been probably pretty difficult because there was a lot going on.
Yeah, well, yes and no, because when you're dealing with just drums, it gets pretty simple.
Yeah.
especially when you're trading off.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this guy's being featured. I'm just going to crank it, compress it, EQ it, make it sound as big as possible,
Now let's steer the conversation back to our time spent at your house, Adrian. Rolling up to your house, me, Pete, and the Aussie Mitch rolled in with Dan, and we're like, man, I can't believe we're rolling into Adrian Young's house. How sick is this? And, knocked on your front door, and you were nice enough to let us in. You'd gone to your warehouse to get us all of the drums for me and Frank to play. You've brought us into your family home, into your studio, into your bar. I was blown away by the whole experience, mate. So I just wanted to quickly say that after that, I had a big old man crush on you. And
Thank you.
yeah. So thank you very much for being so hospitable, mate. I left there. My mind was blown. I was like, I can't believe we just played drums in Adrian Young's house. This is freaking insane. We're on the other side of the world. So, mate, tell us about the process for you. I mean, you had to go and get your old drum kits for me and Frank to play. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you'll see in the video, and I cannot remember which ones we picked, but I think we talked about them.
Yeah.
But there were a couple kits from a couple different tours.
Yeah. Tragic Kingdom. And then I played the Tragic Kingdom one, and Frank played the one that you played on at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was killer. And another thing to mention, we were downstairs in your studio and there was like internet problems. Remember you had guys working on your house that particular day, and it
sucked.
Oh, bro. Oh man, you were so patient. It was like literally 5 hours. We were sitting there, you were pulling your hair out. You kept.
I was so fucking pissed off.
Yeah.
I forgot about it until you just brought it up.
Oh, sorry, man. No, but it was a testament to your character, bro. Like it was Oh, it was brutal, man. Like, it just wasn't working for ages. And then we went and got lunch, came back, and you're like, yes, it's back up, it's firing. You know, and we just jumped into it. As soon as we jammed the track, you sat down on your kit and you played a beat. And I remember hearing it going, holy shit, that sounds like Adrian Young. And the little thing that I picked out from your playing was the accents on like the 1, 2, 3, and the 4. You do a lot of that with your playing. Has anyone ever pointed that out?
Not necessarily. And thank you for saying those things, because I have to admit that I hadn't toured in quite some time when you guys came over, and so I was feeling the rust, you know, and I kind of played through it, but I was feeling it, and it was bothersome to me. But I think, I guess you're referring to kind of like a style that you were hearing. I guess that's just who I am and the way I play. You know, I'm predominantly self-taught, so instinctively, I don't think about what I'm going to play in terms of the way it would be written on a piece of paper, or necessarily counting things out, or I'm going to accent on this beat or that beat. Right? It's more of an instinctive thing. Mm-hmm. And in fact, you brought up Tragic Kingdom, and I when we recorded Tragic Kingdom, I did not know how to read a note of music at all. You know, except for maybe, you know, trombone class in junior high school. But as far as drums went, I hadn't really studied. And after we recorded Tragic Kingdom, I was still going to college while we made that record, and I took a drumming class, so at least I could get the basics to learn how to read a little bit and kind of understand what I was actually doing. Mm-hmm. But even to this day, I play mostly instinctively. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been doing a little bit of studying during COVID, you know, for downtime to improve, but I pretty much play instinctively. Yep. I also play guitar, but I do it the opposite way, because I started it later in life. With guitar, I have to read. I have to look at the theory of it. I can't just pick up a guitar and start playing. It's the exact opposite.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was cool, man. Like, because I watched the episode before, so it's fresh in my mind. And it's almost like you're kind of just opening your hi-hats a tiny little bit with your foot on like the on the 1, 2, 3, and the 4. It's very cool, man. And it was actually at that point, that's when I kind of thought, you know, that's definitely a part of your overall sound. I mean, I've been listening to you forever, and then hearing it there on the day, kind of just out of nowhere, I was like, oh, shit, that's what he does. That was a very cool little subtle thing to pick up on. And now, Frank, let's swing it over to you. So obviously you teed up this episode with Adrian. After our first episode, we were discussing how great the episode came out. And you were like, hell, man, let's hit up Adrian Young for No Doubt, as I was coming over to the States. And you did it basically by the time we finished even chatting. So how have you guys have known each other for forever, right? Like quite a long time.
I mean, probably I've been in LA next month, I think 17 years now.
Yep.
And I met Adrian, I mean, pretty shortly after I moved to LA. And we've just collaborated on so many projects together, from Guitar Center drum offs to Street Drum Corps to this band, The Start. We both played, in together and whatnot. So we've just done so much together. And like when this show came about and we were talking about, you know, going to places and doing different things and whatnot, I just, you know, Adrian's place is just so special. And, you know, it's so different. You know, most drummers in, you know, LA will have either a lockout somewhere or like a back guest house studio or whatever it may be, or a converted garage. And like the fact that he's got this secret underground drum room, and, you know, Adrian and I have spent a lot of time down there doing, you know, production for rehearsals and whatnot from different productions. And I'm just like, this will be really, really fun, you know, in every way. And it was just cool. It was also cool to just see like Adrian taking the lead on the audio side by recording us all and making it. I mean, it was one day. It was kind of throw and go in every way possible. And that's the fun part of the show. It's like, is it going to work? Are we going to be able to capture what we want, you know, film wise, audio wise? And like literally Adrian did all the audio. We sat there, mixed it all that day. It was kind of just like, there's so many things that could go wrong. And we've been lucky so far in all these episodes. It works magically in some way. And like, it's a very small space too, to bring all this lighting and camera guys and 3 drum sets and just everything. And I think the coolest part too, that maybe a lot of people don't know, is like the music. There's no rehearsal. We just, you know, when you and I played on the boat, when we played in Adrian's basement, it's like, here's a backing track, let's go. Who's gonna lead? Who's gonna do this? It's like, we're not sitting there doing all this rehearsal and plotting and planning. That's what the beauty of it is. It's like, it should just be raw and, you know, we're just here for the day kind of thing, which is what I really like about just the pureness and rawness of the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that brings me to my next thought. I remember we had 3 drum kits in that space down there, Adrian. Was that the first time you've had that many drums in your drum room?
The one and only time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a bit of a culture shock.
Yeah, quite a challenge to, I guess, mic up 3 kits in that space and make them all kind of sound good. You did a great job of that. Yeah.
I would actually like to remix those, but I think it's too late since you're releasing this right now.
Sounds great, man.
Yeah, it sounded epic. I mean, and then for you, Pete, obviously, you know, you had to kind of film all 3 drummers in that underground studio there. It's quite a tight space. How did you find that? I mean, it's probably quite difficult. It looks incredible, by the way.
Well, it's an interesting one because there is literally nowhere to move once you walk in there. Even when there's nothing in there, you kind of got to shuffle in and out. And so, I mean, we keep it really small. We use, you know, the best gear, but it's all about, like, my whole ethos in doing production is just keep it as small as possible. Just bring what you can put on you, and get the best result possible. So for me, it's just finding the angles and and like, if you look at that room, it's just a beautiful, you know, there's just stuff on the walls, everything that's about that whole room. It's 360 degrees of like awesome. So you don't have to do much to a place like that to make it look good. So it's just a matter of finding out where you're going to put a camera, or move the camera to make it come alive.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And, Adrian, you mentioned during the episode that that's where you would jam large jams with No Doubt. Was that like your kind of go-to jam space with the band?
It was, at times we used it, but, you know, everyone's kind of scattered all over the Los Angeles area. So, which is really big. So there's times when we would meet up in the Valley at a rehearsal studio. There's times we would meet down at my house. It changed from time to time, but we couldn't do the entire band down there. It was too small of a space. But we would do rhythm section jams down there for sure.
Yep.
I have a question. So was there a water heater an HVAC system down there when we tracked?
I think there was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. So that's gone. Like, that whole room is a lot more expansive than it was when you guys were down there. Very organized, very comfortable. I can't believe we put 3 drum sets down there with large heating and cooling unit.
Yeah.
I think it was in Orange County kick drums that are so long.
Yeah.
It takes up even more room.
Extra long. It's to compensate for the short penis syndromes.
Amazing. It's nothing to do with sound. Doesn't do anything.
That is fantastic. Hey, I was watching you play at the Super Bowl before. I was just having a bit of a look at some No Doubt stuff. It's kind of what I do before we do an episode, or if I'm working with someone, I'll go in and just watch them heaps. I'll listen to them for like a month or two. I've been doing it to Frank. I did it to you, and I've been doing it to you again just the last few days. At the end of the Super Bowl, you're wearing that kilt. And like the last shot was the camera like panning back on a camera crane or something. And you pulled up the kilt and flashed your ass to the crowd. Unbelievable stuff.
I can't believe I made it on there because I was warned because I was wearing a dress, and they said if I took off my shirt that I would not be on camera.
Right.
I took it off anyway. That surprises me that I was even able to get a bare ass shot in it, let alone no shirtless shot.
Yeah.
I was in the old days where you could actually do cool stuff like that. Now it's like, can you imagine? It'd be like, you know,
Oh, boy. I mean,
yeah.
most of the stuff that I did pre-social media might have put me in handcuffs more than once.
That's awesome, man. You always kind of, you've always had a big character behind the kit. You were definitely, in terms of bands, like a lot of drummers in bands can kind of get lost in the background, I guess, but you were always one of the ones that was prominent, you'd always wear crazy stuff. Like, I was watching the Ex-Girlfriend clip before, you had the leopard hair. You always looked, cool as. It was cool. Big personality behind that kit.
Making me blush.
Yeah. Killer. Now, I got a question for you, Adrian. In your bar that we shot in, and you just had like memorabilia everywhere. It's really, really cool how you keep all of that stuff. Now, there's one thing in there that I saw that I didn't ask you about. Is the key to Anaheim. Tell us, how does one acquire the key to Anaheim?
I don't remember the details of how that happened, but basically what it means is, I guess the mayor and maybe other city council people decide who they're going to give a key to when they do it. Mm-hmm. And they had selected us because we were a band that was mostly from the city of Anaheim. Mm-hmm. And if I remember correctly, the last person they had inducted was Nolan Ryan, like 10 years prior or something like that, maybe more.
Yeah.
He was a pitcher for the Angels for part of his career, the California Angels. And so, they presented us with the key to the city in Disneyland. It was very surreal.
That's awesome.
Cool. And I'm not sure what it means or what it gets us.
Yeah. It's cool, though. It's cool to hang up in your bar, huh?
But I actually tried to put it to the test to see if it got me anything, because it is key. And so there's this venue next to Anaheim Stadium called the Grove, and we went to go see, I think it was the Pretenders one night, my wife and I, years ago. But I had the key, and it's, as you saw, it's in a frame. It's pretty big, and I brought it in the car, and I said to my wife, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna bring this and see if they'll give us free parking, because I have the key to the city, right?" Kind of as a joke. And so we pull up to the parking booth attendant, and I grabbed the key, and it's this ridiculous thing because it's so big on my lap. I said, "Hey, I was told I get free parking if we anywhere in Anaheim for the rest of my life." And this guy who's older, he just looks at me and he goes, "That'll be $6, please."
That's awesome.
I embarrassed the shit out of my wife. And I think I did it twice, actually, because it worked the other time. Yeah. The woman laughed at me and said, "Go on." It's just a ridiculous stunt, but I was curious to see if it worked. So I was batting 500, and I left it at that.
Absolutely, man. And you and Frank have had a long history together. I've seen you performing with the Street Drum Corps online. You've played emo nights together. It's really cool that you're both down to do extra kind of things like this drum show. So Frank, epic move bringing Adrian into the mix here.
It's awesome. I always say, like, when everyone's like, "Oh, who's the coolest rock star you ever met," or whatever, I'm like, Adrian Young, man. Adrian he's just,
dude, you're gonna bum out Tommy. Love you, Tommy.
Of course. You're just, I don't know, it's, of course, everyone's got a special place and a special thing. It's just like, you've just always been down and there, for all these awesome adventures. And we've just had a blast doing it. And I think it comes off that way because we're just so, stoked on what we're doing, whatever it may be. I mean, I've done the most stuff with you of anyone I've collaborated with, as far as, people. And, we've done some rad shit, dude, and let's just keep doing it and keep pushing all the envelope.
Come on, baby.
Done.
Frank, I'm sorry. I was kind of starting to laugh but the reason why is because my wife is standing behind the computer flashing her tits trying to make me laugh.
Busted. Yeah.
All of a sudden you say the word Tommy Lee and tits come out. See, that's how it works.
Weird.
Damn.
Oh man. Oh, it's just gone up a level. This is great.
Yes. Well, have a wonderful day, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, mate. Yeah. Again, thanks for jumping on. Always fun. We appreciate your time. And mate, that day was killer. It was a great day. We'll never forget it. It was the first time I went to Long Beach. I don't think Pete had been there either. We went and had dinner down the foreshore there, whatever you call it, where all those restaurants are across from the Queen Mary. Yeah, man. It was sick. It was awesome memories that whole time. So thanks again, brother. And mate, next time with the next episode, myself and Frank, the virtual thing, we'll have to get you to mix that too.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen.
Cheers, lads.
Awesome. See you guys.
Thank you.